So I feel like anytime Miami lands a three-star recruit, I got to come on here and talk you guys off the damn ledge because the way college football fans in general just have these knee-jerk reactions to everything is just unbelievable. It never ceases to amaze me, and I shouldn't be surprised by it. I've been a college football fan for over 25 years now, but I guess it is what it is. So that's why I'm on here today. Bayou Beast. Yes, we will get into all of this. Um, we've been 3-star U for a while now. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah, no, we've been like 1-star U for the last 20 years, not even 3-star. Uh, I'm not about the stars, but I think program loaded with 3 stars will not compete at a will not compete at a top level consistently. Sure, there are a few sleepers to be had. I'm glad you brought that up, and we'll go further into that. At a top level, meaning like playoff team every year, like the usual teams that are up there. Yeah, you gotta be loaded talent wise. You got to be loaded with guys that can run fast and jump high, and run a 4.3, and linemen that are 6'5", 330. Sure, you got to load up on those if you want to compete at the top level consistently. Of course, I totally agree with you, but you don't get a class of 7 5-stars just pulling that out of your butt. You gotta prove it on the field. You gotta win. You gotta earn the right to do that. So, Mitch, always, always on the first on the chat. Thank you for being on. Ever so loyal. They got more to prove than a 5-star does. More dogs, less busts. I don't know about less busts, but I'm a fan of a 3-star that's hungry, that's coming in ready to work, and that fits. I'm a fan of any player that is coming in willing to work and has a high ceiling. But look, here's a huge spoiler I'm about to give you guys. You ready? This class is going to have a bunch of 4-stars, a bunch of 3-stars, and a sprinkling of 5-stars, just like they always do. Okay, it's going to be no different. So I feel like every year we have this little streak of, we get a few 3-star recruits and, everybody loses their mind. This is no different. It just so happens it's happening, while the Oregons and, these teams, like the Oregons and the Alabamas and, the Tennessees of the world, anytime they land a 4-star or a 5-star, it gets posted on Instagram or Twitter, and we're here. It feels like we're missing out. Look, we got dudes that are interested and that we're in a very, very good spot for. To name a few, these are some guys that I feel really good about Miami's chances. Caleb Odom, David Stone, Justin Scott, JoJo Trader. What do all these guys have in common? They're all 5-stars, okay? And besides, put the star rating aside, their tapes are absolutely absurd, ridiculous, stupid. They are insanely talented. A couple other guys that are maybe I'm not super confident about, but we're making headway. We're making strides with them. Dylan Stewart, the defensive end, the IMG running back, Jarrett Gibson, I want to say. I was blanking on his name for a second. Making some progress with those guys. So we're going to be fine. Don't worry about that. We're going to be fine. We're going to land the studs as well. We're going to land the big names, and we're going to land some developmental guys, and we're going to land some under the radar guys. But I came on here because every time we land a 3-star, it's the same thing. Miami's lost their recruiting mojo. Miami's, the loafers, they've lost their superpower. Miami's run out of money. That's my favorite one. Really? After 1 year, just like that, the money evaporates? No. Come on. Just like use your brain. Think for a second. You really think, all the people involved, with NIL deals but they're building $100+ million football facility. You don't think their mind is like 10, 15 years ahead? They're thinking way ahead right now. For their, they just ran out of money like that? No, come on, use your brain. I think some things are at play here. While we are not, we're not Georgia and Alabama, we're not Ohio State in the sense that We can't be like Nick Saban and just walk into a recruit's living room, slap a scholarship on the coffee table, and be like, all right, either you're in or you're out. Take care. We're not in that position. We have to put in a little more work to find those guys that we can develop into future NFL players. Les, also always in the chat. Thank you for being on. John, my brother, I'm so tired of Ohio State, bro. When can we steal one from them? We did. We stole Mark Fletcher from them, if you recall. Also, a lot of the guys we got last year, like Ohio State was after them. But anyway, yeah, so there are some things at play here. Number one, I don't think it's not a thing that we've run out of money or anything like that. That's not the case at all. I do think what's happening here is Miami is being super selective. Well, yeah, I wish we had our pick of whatever 5-star we wanted, but you got to win to earn the right to do that. Where we're at right now, we are trying to be as selective as possible with guys that are going to be culture fits. Because think about it. If you just bring in a bunch of talented dudes that they're just in it for the NIL money, they're just in it for NIL opportunities, and that's it. You're not getting the right guy, the right mentality guy. You're just getting a bunch of dudes that, ultimately might transfer in 2025. You might have a same situation that Texas A&M just had. You can't just load up on dudes and throw money at everybody and then just, I'll figure it out later. No, we are trying to get guys that fit the culture, which is extremely important. So that's number one. Number two, you want to get guys that are going to stick around for 3 to 4 years. That's the other thing at play now that we're not used to yet. Your entire team there are a bunch of free agents 24/7. Okay. So anybody can up and leave literally at any time. So you need to get guys that not only are culture fits, that are going to stick around. So you build depth, because if you keep having guys leave, which has been a problem for us, not even before the Manny Diaz era, it was a problem dating all the way back to the Randy Shannon era. We would lose guys either because of poor academics, or they got in trouble, or they did something stupid, or they just wanted to transfer out because they didn't like it there. Guys have trickled out and fallen through the cracks left and right. That's a big reason why depth has been an issue for our program for 15 years. What's up, Sigmund? Tango, what's going on? So those are two things at play. And then the third thing is, look, we're coming off a 5-7 season. Let's be honest. We have no right to just, tell whatever 5-star we want, like, hey, you're in or you're out. And if you're not in, some other 5-star is going to take your spot. No, we're not in that spot right now, which is why it's so impressive what they were able to do last year to bring in the studs that they brought in and guys that are buying in. Because note how many guys decommitted when they saw the bad season we had. 1 guy, 2 guys decommitted. Not only getting talented guys, getting the right guys. Now, also you gotta remember, a lot of the big boys, the dudes that we've been having visiting, the David Stones and Justin Scotts of the world, we're in a great spot for them. But remember, they're not committing until later. They're not committing until the summer or until right before signing day. So you got to be patient with those. And, let's and the guys that we've brought in so far, Chance Robinson's an absolute stud. Judd Anderson, we got our quarterback, and it's not the only quarterback we're going to get. Let's look at them kind of one by one, because Larry Bluestein earlier today had some great points about this. The star system, while it has its place, definitely is flawed. Okay. Now we gotta kind of turn every stone. And look, Mario, he's not settling. You really think the guy that turned every stone and turned over every blade of grass before he settled on his OC and his DC? Do you think after he spent all that time and doing all that research and all the interviews with those guys, you think he's just settling for these 3 stars? No. These guys that he's gotten, there's a point to them. And I'll tell you in a minute. But, we've gotten so far, I think, I'll tell you how many commits we have so far. According to 247, we have 3, not 6. We have 8 commits so far. All right. Chance Robinson being the most highly rated one. That one's he's one I'm really excited about. I love his tape. That dude's elite. To me, he looks like a top 50 player. He's ranked like number 150 overall, but he's going to be great. And then you got, guys like Isaiah Thomas, Dylan Day. But let's go one by one. Give me my opinion on each of these guys. Vincent Shavers. We'll start with him because he was the most recent one. Vincent Shavers, I'll be honest, I'm not super impressed with his size, 6'1", 205, but okay, let's see. Let me do some homework. Let's see what the coaches think about him. I always, let the emotions go down because listen, I'm not going to lie. I want to see some blue chippers come in already. I'm like you guys, but I don't have the knee-jerk reaction. I'm like, take a breather. Let's do some homework on this guy. Why did we bring him in? So Vincent Shavers, although his size is not super impressive, really liked this tape a lot. Great at coming off the edge, putting pressure on the quarterback, racked up great stats, a lot of quarterback hurries, a lot of sacks, forced fumbles, running interceptions back for touchdowns. He fills up the stat sheet. So I like that. That's something you can't teach. And he plays both ways. He plays running back, he plays offense, he plays defense. So, very athletic. Not a lot of guys can do that. And this staff, I don't know if you noticed, but they kind of have a knack for finding these guys that are kind of, they have like a 3-star rating. And then before you know it, they commit. All of a sudden, after they commit to us, they get all this attention from other schools. They get all these offers, but it's like, it's too late. They're already with Miami. Happened with Emory Williams last year. Dude, I don't know how he remained a 3-star. Hopefully he proves everybody wrong. But the dude not only got invited to the Elite 11 camps, made the Elite 11 finals. Okay? So we apparently knew something that other schools didn't. We do our homework, and we do extensive homework when scouting these players. And it's not just watching the tape and going to see them practice or whatever. It's, talking to them, talking to their family, talking to, like who they associate with, all those things. What kind of grades do they have in school? They want to get the right people, into this locker room. But, Vincent Shavers, again, I like this tape. He goes up against tackles that are twice his size and puts them on their ass. I love seeing that. So I like this tape. I saw his offer list. It's got the likes of Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, Florida State. So if you got Florida and Florida State fans on, leaving comments on your social media, let's remember this. Florida and Florida State wanted this young man. So, they can shut up about that. I look at that offer list. I'm like, okay, this is not a 3-star offer list. This is at least a 4-star offer list. So offer list, you got the good tape. Size, much to be desired, but he's 6'1". Maybe he'll fill out. What I do like, he's very quick. Sideline to sideline, nice speed. That's a trend I'm noticing. They're trying to add speed to every position. That's another thing we've been lacking in certain spots. And one thing that I read that I think kind of cemented it for me is after he transferred now to Miami Central, which, you don't transfer to Miami Central at that position unless you can play. Transfers to Miami Central to get more exposure because he was at Monsignor Pace before, not the same kind of exposure, which can hurt your rating. Supposedly had a monster spring. I think Florida high schools, either they're in spring ball or just finished spring ball. Apparently he really impressed in the spring. So he's one of these guys that's a late riser, late bloomer that Miami's kind of getting in on the ground floor on, because there's 3 stars that are, okay, they're developmental. We'll work with them. We'll develop them. We'll see what we get out of them. And then there's 3 stars that, again, it's you look at the tape, the offer list, who's after them, what people say about them. It's like, what the hell's this kid a 3-star? And sure enough, Bobby Washington, Chris Johnson are 2 examples that get that 4th star late in the game. Because their senior tape and all the attention they're getting, it just can't be denied. 27 Kane. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the donation. Yes, I trust the staff's evaluation process. I really do, because that it really jumped out to me in the spring. The freshmen that we brought in and the transfers, they, for the most part, were the most impressive during spring ball. They all performed well. So that told me that this staff is really careful about who they bring in, really selective. And yeah, they don't have their choice of whatever 5-star they want, which makes them work even harder to find those guys. Look at the NFL. The amount of guys that are stars in the NFL, and I did a video about this, you can check it out. The amount of guys that went on to the NFL to have great careers, to be Pro Bowlers, to be Super Bowl champions that were 3 stars coming out of high school or lower, sometimes 2 stars. The list is endless. It's endless. So yeah, Vincent Shavers, welcome to the U. I like the pickup. And again, it's not the only linebacker we're going to get. We're going to get a few other linebackers. We got to load up, throw numbers at it. We'll get some 4s. Maybe we'll land a 5. But then who else we got? We got, Dylan Day. That was a pick a while back. I can see the 3-star rating there. 5'11", 165. Not super impressive with the size. I will say this, watching his tape, his one-on-one, like man-to-man coverage skills, that was the part I really liked. He locks dudes down. I mean, it was really impressive to see him cover guys. Plays in the state of Louisiana, which he plays tough competition. He goes up against freak athletes at wide receiver more often than not. So Dylan Day, we'll see what happens there. I could see because of the size, he might stay a 3-star, but I like the pickup, and if Lance Guidry likes him, let's take a chance on him. So that's Dylan Day. I can see the 3-star there. Isaiah Thomas, honestly, he had a torn ACL his last season, this past season. So that probably put a dent in his rating. I can see him being a late riser because he's got fantastic size. He's 6'2", 205 pounds playing that safety position. And look at his tape. He's just an absolute playmaker. Plays at Clearwater, Florida. State of Florida. You're going to play some studs. So I can see that dude being a late riser. Chris Wheatley-Humphrey. Okay, he's the obvious one. Let's get this out of the way. Chris Wheatley-Humphrey is not a 3-star at all. That dude is elite. Okay, just an absolute burner. Blue chips will start. The blue chips will start coming next month. I agree. I think in the next month or two in the summer, you'll start seeing them pour in. What up, Mike? So yeah, where was I? I got sidetracked. So Dylan Day, Isaiah Thomas, Chris Wheatley-Humphrey. I think already ahead of what our running back is going to start to look like. Chris Wheatley-Humphrey, elite world-class track speed. Chris Johnson, elite world-class track speed. AJ Allen, just elite speedster. Again, are you noticing a pattern here? And you see the receivers we just brought in from the portal. Shamar Kirk, Tyler Harrell. Tyler Harrell's got elite world-class track speed as well. Was clocked at a 4.2, like low 4.2s. You noticing what we're doing here? We're bringing the speed, like not speed, because there's speed and then there's speed. We're bringing speed back to Miami, okay? So, just be patient, all right? But let's continue. Who else we got? Vincent Shavers, Juan Minaya, 6'6", 335. His size is elite. I can understand the rating, though. He's a little bit raw. And also, he's projected to be more of an interior lineman. Typically, the interior linemen don't get high ratings. They just don't. Connor Liu last cycle, unfortunately, that's one of the few guys we actually lost. And we didn't lose him because we were losing. We lost him because Auburn had an aviation program that he wanted to do, and that's what he wants to do after football. Got to respect it. But Connor Liu was rated by some publications as the #1 center in the country. He was a 3-star recruit. So, you know what I'm saying? And then Judd Anderson, I could see him being a late riser as well. 6'7", he's still filling out. Sneaky athletic. He is a 2-sport athlete, which probably also held him back with his, with the rating that he got. So, like I said, there's 3 stars, and then there's 3 stars, and you're like, why the hell is this guy a 3-star? He's got this, he's got this, he's got that. We've got more of the latter, trust me, with this batch of guys that came in. I think we're making some smart, very careful choices here. But yeah, and then another guy that's on Miami's radar that I feel really good about. Ricky Knight. I believe Ricky Knight is also a 3 borderline 4-star. He's one of those, like, it depends where you look. He's like right on the borderline. Another guy that, again, FSU fans can shut up about this because they're after him as well. They want him. So it's going to be like, I think it's like a Miami FSU battle still. That's one that I like. Love his tape. Could be a late riser as well. But, you know, context is everything. Yes, I would love to just land a class like Georgia just had of like literally nothing but blue chippers. I think they had like 1 3-star or something. It was stupid. But you got to win. You got to win to be able to do that. I looked at Nick Saban's recruiting classes early on, like 07, 08. 07 was his first class because that was his first season with Alabama. It was ranked number 12. Coming off what Mike Shula had going there. I think he was even a pretty solid recruiter when he was there, but Alabama just couldn't get off the ground. Number 12 recruiting class, bunch of 4 and 3-star guys. It kind of looked like a typical Miami class. Solid, a lot of talented dudes. You just got to develop them. And boy, did Nick Saban develop them, because that was the class that started the run, because that was the backbone of the 09 team that won the national championship against Texas. Then 08, they were like the number 4 class. We were number 1 that year, if you remember. They were the number 4 class, and then 3, and then 5, and then they just kind of averaged top 5 after that. But what I'm saying is, you'd be surprised how many 3-stars they took on those first couple of years. Nick wasn't getting 7, 8, 5-stars every year early on. All right, you see what I'm saying? He was building the culture first. He was getting the right guys in. He didn't have his pick of whoever he wanted. At the time, it was Florida and who else was great back then? Ohio State. It was, kind of teams like that. Texas, kind of just getting their pick, whoever they wanted. So he had to build to that. He built to it pretty quick, like 3-4 years, but he had to build to that. If anybody has anxiety about Mario Cristobal landing fantastic recruiting class this year, they've got bigger issues. I'm not concerned in the least about recruiting as long as CMC is our coach. Agreed, my friend. I always look at big picture, okay? Is the roster better than it was 6 months ago when the season ended? Light years better. Are you kidding? We're bigger, we're stronger, we're much faster. TVD's back from his injury with an OC that's going to play to his strengths. It's been since the season ended, which was hot garbage, of course. Blame goes all around for that. But it's been nothing but positive as far as player acquisition. Stop comparing us to but Oregon got this guy today. Great. Fantastic. That's good for them. Oregon is in a great position right now. A lot due to Mario Cristobal. Ohio State, they're going to land this receiver. Great. Yeah, they've earned it. They've won a lot. But it all goes back to this. It all goes back to player development, because without player development, none of what I'm saying even matters. We're getting good enough recruiting classes already, and we have good enough talent here already. If you develop them, you'll win a lot of football games. You'll be, I know nobody wants to hear this, but you can be the Wisconsins and Kansas States of the world that are winning 9 and 10 games, that are solid programs that, if we played them last year, we would have gotten our asses kicked. Those recruiting classes are like 23, 38, 40. They're not ranked super high, but they develop the hell out of those classes. Thank you, Norman. Appreciate it. John, what's good? How was your weekend? The Heat and Panthers won, baby. That's how my weekend was. It was great. I think I saw someone. Yes, Mike. Panthers tonight, baby. Yeah, hopefully they go up 3-0. They bumped up Rohan's nephew's ranking. If you could let me know what his name is exactly so I can look it up, that'd be great. Yeah, I remember Rohan Marley. His nephew's playing now, and I don't know if he's a recruit that we're going after. I don't know much about him, so I have to look him up. But yeah, so Miami came off a couple of really not good, great visit weekends from potential prospects. And like I said, we're sitting real pretty for Oh, Chris Cole. Okay. We're sitting real pretty for a lot of big time recruits. Like 5, 6, 7 big time names that I'm like, all right, we're in a good spot. We just got to keep chopping wood, as they say. And don't worry, we're gonna be fine. Recruiting is not going to be an issue here at Miami. Are we going to have the number one class this year? No, I don't think so. But we don't. Honestly, you don't need to consistently get top 10, top 15, top 7, top 5. Eventually it'll build. We'll win games and we'll start averaging top 5. When you're averaging top 5, that means you're already an elite program. You're probably already making the playoffs every year. So we'll get there. Worry not, my friends. This is, patience. Let's see. Mike, I know you're asking about QB Max Lawrence. I gotta do more homework on him. I'll speak on the guys that I can speak on confidently. I'm still like familiarizing myself a lot with this class. I kind of do homework on the kids as they get recruited or as Miami's starting to pay attention to them. I start, then watching their tape and doing homework on them because there's just too many guys. There's way too many. But yeah, just wanted to come on and share my thoughts on everything that's happening. Again, Miami's not running out of money. It's, don't believe everything you read. It's going to be all right, guys. I think the blue chippers, what someone said in the chat earlier, I think the blue chippers will start trickling in little by little. And then when they see, now I remember, I think Max Lawrence is he that preferred walk-on quarterback? Yeah, again, I don't know much about him, Mike. I have to do a little more homework on him. Yeah, I think we picked up a preferred walk-on quarterback like last week or something. Yeah, yes, he is. Yeah, I got to do a little more homework. But yeah, no, he's preferred walk-on. Hey, that's great for him. But as far as who I'm expecting to commit next, I'm not sure. But I know Justin Scott, I think, locked in a visit for June 6th through the 9th. The only thing that sucks there is we don't have his final official visit. I think his final is like USC or something like that. But I think we're still. I think we're still in a great spot for him. But anyways, I'll leave you guys with that. I'm going to be on Flo's show a little later, so I'm going to chill, work out, get something to eat, and just kind of rest my brain before then. But have a great night, guys. Enjoy your evening. Go Panthers, and stay tuned for the Flo show over on the Miami Flow channel.